give some people some time to join because we're still a little bit early. Okay, yeah, I think we'll get started off. Hello, and thank you for attending our webinar today on Lightkeys. Our expert Matt will be presenting the webinar where we will cover the features of Lightkeys and how it supports dyslexic users to overcome barriers and enhance performance. If you do have any questions, please use the Q&A box, which you should all have access to. There will be a Q&A segment at the end of the webinar. We are using Interact Streamer, so captioning is available if you click on the right bottom side of your screen. Matt, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, perfect. All right, brilliant. Cheers, Connor. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody at Microlink as well for setting this up this afternoon. So yeah, afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's had a good week. I'm looking forward to the weekend. And just before that, we're going to give you a quick overview of Lightkey. I'll give you a little bit of big background first. Product's been around for about 4 or 5 years now. We started to work on it in the UK probably within the last 6 months. It was primarily brought into the UK market for the DSA. And I can see from a few of you guys attending this afternoon, also your DSA assessors and stuff. It originally was programmed for the workplace, believe it or not, and it was then brought across the DSA, partly because it was found to have benefits within the assistive technology market in terms of some of the features and how it can benefit different users with different disabilities. We've been going out, like I say, for probably about 6 months now, talking to different assessors, etc., and also with various opportunities in the workplace, and obviously we're working with guys at Microlink and stuff to promote that, and a couple that we're working on at the moment. So what we wanted to do this afternoon was to take you through Lightkey, have a little look at it in terms of how you set your profile up, etc., and the control panel. And then we'll have a look at it working in a couple of different applications. As Connor said, if you want to put those questions in the chat window, and then we can look to answer those at the end, that'd be brilliant. And like I say, hopefully by the end of it, you'll have a good understanding of what Lightkey can do, and think about obviously those environments and stuff where it would benefit either the students you're assessing or fellow colleagues and other users. I will turn my camera off for the demo, just in case we get any bandwidth issues. I'm not envisaging any, but it is Friday afternoon, so fingers crossed. So I will just turn that off, and then I'm going to share my screen. Connor, if you could just let me know when I share my screen that it is working properly, that would be brilliant.
Just loading now, Matt. Yep,
perfect.
Good to go.
Yep. Okay, excellent. Let's do it that way. Okay, so firstly, Lightkey is a Windows-only platform. So it is only for Windows-based machines. It does come with a Google Chrome add-on, but there is no Mac version available. That's not to say further down the line we won't look at a Mac version, but at the moment it is purely Windows only. Therefore, it's a local install on the user's machine. It can be used as a site license product as well. So it's a slightly different methodology about how that works, but you can get site licenses for Lightkey as well as standalone. When you first set your Lightkey up, you will need to set up your prediction profile. So that allows you as a user to start to tailor the product around what you require. And the first thing you need to do is to set up the language that you require it in. Now, by default, it will always be UK English for the licenses that we've got in the UK. So there's no need to change that from an American spelling, etc. It will work in UK English straight away. Now, we then go on to having the option of languages. Now, this works in two different ways depending on the license that you have. So I'll talk about the DSA license initially. Now, the DSA license has automatic language detection prediction built into it. And within Lightkey, we have over 80 different languages available. So if we have a look at the list, you can see here, there are over, I think it's 84 in total, different languages. We've got Welsh in there, Estonian, Finnish, French, Italian. They're all, like I say, all in there. And within the DSA version, it will automatically detect changes in language. So when you start to write, so for example, it might be Welsh students, Welsh language students, when they start to write in Welsh, Lightkey will detect that and will offer them the predictions in that language. For the other versions of Lightkey, so those that are either Access to Work or the business version, you can actually manually select. So you would actually choose your language from the list down here. So you can select your language and then gain the benefits of Lightkey within additional languages as well. The next thing you need to set up is your categories. Now, we refer to them as categories. They are effectively specific subject area dictionaries. So they are additional dictionaries based around obviously the areas that you can see on the left-hand side here. And there are over 60 of those included within the product. And you can select all 60 should you wish. So we don't restrict the user on how many of those dictionaries they want to select. They can select all 60. So if we have a look at something like sport, we can tick on any one of those. It will then give us additional definitions if we needed them. If we have a look at maybe art and entertainment, so let's have a look at, say, architecture. Let's click on that. That will now then load the dictionary into my profile. And what we'll see in a minute, on the bottom right-hand side of my screen, we'll actually be able to see where Lightkey is updating straight away to give me that profile. So I just checked my language to make sure I hadn't made any changes to that, and in a minute, there you go, it's updating my prediction model. So it works straight away in terms of updating that model. We can also create our own custom categories. So as a user, if we've got a particular bank of words that we want to include within our profile to obviously make those predictions quicker and more accurate, we can create our own custom category. And that's a fairly simple process to do. We just simply drag and drop the file or folder directly into here. And we can do that in any one of those particular formats. So it could be Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and we just drag and drop it straight into here. And then within our categories, will appear in the list here, and we just select it to add it to our profile. So we can really start to tailor the profile down to us as an individual in terms of our language, in terms of the categories that we want, and therefore giving us more accurate and quicker predictions within the work that we want to undertake. So that's our profile. As I said, we can set that up at the start, and we can also amend it through the actual control panel here any point that we want just by accessing it just down in the bottom of your taskbar there on your Windows machine. So now we're all set up, we can start to have a little look at the dashboard in terms of what we've been doing with Lightkey running. So Lightkey is designed to speed up the writing process. It is offering you predictions, and the way that it does that is it's AI powered. Now, AI normally, when we talk about AI, we talk about going out to the internet, retrieving information. That's how the technology works. Lightkey is very different. Its AI technology is localized to your machine, so there is no requirement for Lightkey to have an internet connection. It can work completely offline and give you the same predictions exactly the same way. So it doesn't require any internet connectivity. It works solely locally on your machine, and it will predict up to 12 words and punctuation in advance. Now, on our dashboard, from a productivity point of view, it will show us the amount of time that we've gained. So overall, how many minutes we've gained by actually using Lightkey. It will tell us how efficient we've been, tells us the keystrokes, and it gives us an overall picture of how quick we are in terms of typing. So I'm up to nearly 71 words per minute. Lightkey definitely helps me. I have started to use more than one finger to type now, so that's definitely making a big difference. If we then go on to our productivity metrics, you can even go a little bit deeper into that as well. We can start to look at the applications that Lightkey has been working in. So where have we used Lightkey? Where has it been most effective? The time period and the languages. We can see the minutes that we've gained, how efficient we've been, again, the keystrokes have been predicted, spelling corrections, and how much time we've actually saved on a daily basis. So Lightkey doesn't only just do word prediction, it obviously will do spelling corrections, and there is an element of it that will also, because of it being predictive, it will also look at sort of predictive grammar. It's looking at it in a proactive way as well.
Matt, sorry, just quickly, we've had a question. Does it
Yeah,
work
sure.
with Mac OS?
There is a Mac version at the moment. No, it's purely Windows only and with the Google add-on.
Okay, thank you.
If we go down now, we've had a look at our profile. We can now look at our preferences, and we can start to change the way that we interact with Lightkey in terms of how do we accept predictions. So you have to accept a prediction. So with any prediction that Lightkey gives you, you need to either accept it or just ignore it. If you choose to accept it, you can do that by using the tab key by default. And we'd always recommend that people do that. It is a better way of accepting predictions. The other two options are either to use the enter key or the right arrow, but by default, it's always the tab key. We can also set up a sound assistant. So if you are a typist who is always looking at the keyboard, not the screen, then obviously you need to know if there's a prediction there for you. And the sound assistant will just give you an audible prompt to tell you that there is a prediction. Now, I have to get the mouse in the right place on this to test it, so hopefully I do. Not quite that time. Let's give it one more. There you go. You should have heard that then. It's just an audible prompt to tell you, there we go, that you've got a prediction available. Next one along is our applications, and these are all the native applications that Lightkey will work in. So your standard sort of Office products in terms of your Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, etc. Again, we'll work with Gmail. We can even use it in the likes of Twitter, and if people are using the WhatsApp web app, you can even use it in that as well. It will also work with the Lightkey enable technology down here on all your other programs. So if you've got any other assistive technology programs running, it could be mind mapping software, for example, Having Lightkey Anywhere enabled, which we've got here, allows the product to be used within that application as well, so that you will get the same predictions there.
Matt?
Yeah.
Job applications, online job applications. Can you make this work in third-party? You know, there are lots of people looking for jobs, and if they want to do it online, how do they use this to actually correct the application form?
It would depend on, from my understanding of this, and again, I'll be honest, Nasser, it's not wide in terms of my knowledge on it, but it depends on the application format, I believe. But I can certainly get some more information on that and circulate to everybody how it would work on that. In theory, with Lightkey Anywhere enabled, it would work in that application. Right. But I will double check that if that's okay.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for that.
The next one is our AI prediction. So we can look in terms of how we set that up. By default, we will always get text prediction, spelling, and multi-word. People don't tend to turn those off, in all honesty. We wouldn't expect them to, but the option is there. It will also detect your speed of your actual typing. So depending on how quick you are, it will detect that, or if you're an exceptionally quick typist or an ultra fast typist, you can change the speed of those predictions so that you're always getting them in line with how quickly you are as a typist. We've automatically got this ticked on for our spelling corrections based on those vocabularies, so those categories, and we've also got uppercase corrections. The one above that is also being optimized for experience for people with disabilities. Now, back in 2016, Lightkey got some feedback from an occupational therapist who'd actually recommended Lightkey for somebody actually with cerebral palsy. But when they started to look into this in terms of the disabilities, a lot of the feedback related to this about optimizing it was giving people just one prediction. And that's something that's very different with Lightkey. You do not get multiple predictions when you're typing. It will only give you one prediction. And the reason for this is that for certain users, certain disabilities and stuff like that, the process is more about them for getting stuff down in writing, getting the thoughts down, getting the words out. To stop and then have multiple predictions coming up is actually counterintuitive, because you're stopping the process, you're then selecting and looking at a list of predictions and then selecting one before you actually carry on. So it's actually having multiple prediction options is actually not helping you. So the way the technology works is that it is effectively looking all the time at what you've written, and it's giving you predictions when it's 100% happy that that is correct. So it will only ever give you one, and it will only ever give you a prediction if it knows exactly what it is. In terms of the notifications, so we've already got our sound assistant on, and again, we can do other things in terms of around our licenses, etc. We can also back up and restore our data. So Lightkey gets better the more you use it. The more you use it, the more it recognizes common phrases, words that you use, and it learns from you. So by being able to back up and restore your data, you can effectively keep your profile at the point that it's at and not lose any of what you've put into it. So it could be, for example, it might be a DSA student who's had a new laptop or something like that, or then they can back up, restore, and then get back to exactly where they were beforehand as well. Final part of the control panel is our About section. And within that, we have the ability just to check for updates. And it just tells us the correct version stuff that we're on. Now, the version that we're on at the moment is the 4th revision, I think, since March. And for those individuals who are getting Lightkey as part of DSA, they will have automatic updates. So as soon as there's an update available, it will push it out to them. For the other licenses and stuff, then you will need to check for updates just by simply clicking the button, and it will make sure that you are on the latest version. Now, the licenses for Lightkey vary depending on the environment. So if it's a DSA student, it's a 6-year license. For an access to work license, it's a period of 3 years, and we also have site licenses as well. So during the course of those license period, you will get all of the updates. So via DSA automatically, via the other two, you will need to check for them as well. And we can do various other bits and pieces in terms of site licenses, where we can restrict updates and various things like that. So that's the control panel and how we can set the profile up to match our requirements. And now we thought we'd have a little look at it working in a couple of different applications. So I've got Word open, and we'll just see how that starts to work in Word and how that looks in terms of the predictions that it offers you. How does it do it? And then obviously getting to the point of accepting those predictions. So we'll start to write. So again, I'm starting to type. I can see I've got a lowercase. It will change that for me. It's now starting to give me predictions straight away. So it's picked up there. Do I want to say this is? We'll tab and say yes. See the predictions starting to come in. And you can see how it's, again, waiting to give me that prediction. As I continue to write, it's changing the prediction. So it's not giving me multiple ones that may be 2 or 3 letters in. It's letting me continue to write and giving me that option of the predictions as we go along. So this is a demonstration of, as I start to type again, it's permanently looking of Lightkey, and we just press the tab to accept it. So you can see there how we're getting that single prediction, and it's only making it as we continue to type. So it's looking at those keystrokes, it's seeing that we're continuing to type, we're not accepting that, and it's not going to give us multiples. So we'll just start typing a little bit more. So yes, this is a common phrase that I use. So space shuttle is change that is in. Again, it's giving the option of orbit. And as you can see now, it's now giving me multiple predictions. So it's looking at that, say yes to that. We'll say yes to the sun. So it's giving me multiple predictions there. It gave me 2 words because it's 2 things. It's a common phrase that I've used in this particular demonstration before. But secondly, the way that it works out these predictions as well is by looking at previously what you've written already in your sentence. So in this case, we've got the word space and we've got the word shuttle. When I start to then write as orbit, and again, we can give out licenses to everybody to trial after this, and it's something that you should try in terms of this particular sentence because it will give you a really good understanding of how Lightkey works. But it is looking at these words, so it's looking at space, it's looking at shuttle. It understands that space shuttles travel in orbit. And when you start to write the word orbit, so O and R, that's how it gives you the prediction. So it's constantly looking at what you've written and also making those predictions as it goes forward based on that information. So that's how it looks working in Word. And again, it will work in all those native applications. So it could be your Outlook, could be Excel, PowerPoint, etc. And if we just go into the emails for a minute, here's one that I've got ready in Google, in Chrome. You'll actually see when you actually load it up, you'll get a little icon that will actually appear up here as your Lightkey icon. So you'll be able to see that the Chrome add-on has actually already gone in there. And here's what I'm just writing to Connor now. So we'll start to write it. Again, give me the option, accept his name. Now this is working on, some people said, oh, it's working on the Chrome and the Gmail prediction. It's not. This is actually working off the Lightkey prediction as soon as you put it on there. So many thanks for your email. So yes. We also send out orders, obviously, for Lightkey when they're received. So this could be Connor sending me an order, which would be nice. So we'll put many thanks for your order. Put the details. Start to pick that up, he says. Need are as follows. Press tab, and I'm ready to put the information in. So it's looking at, again, common things I'm writing, but more importantly, it's picking up details of what I've already written. So it's looking at the details you need, and it's making assumptions based on that. But like I said, you don't have to accept it. The more you keep typing in, the more the predictions and stuff will change, but it will only ever give you that single prediction. So that's it, working in a couple of different applications. Like I said, it will work in all your native ones. NASA made a very good point there about in terms of online job applications, etc. And I will feed that information back to Colin and NASA, and everybody at Microlink as well. But it will allow you to do that across all those applications. By enabling the Lightkey Anywhere technology, you can use it in conjunction with your other assistive technology, which could be things like mind mapping software, etc.
Do you have to specify what application it goes into, or does it sit in the background and it just works with any Windows or Mac OS compatible applications?
So any Windows-based application, so any native applications, NASA, it will work with straight out the box. Mm-hmm. For other technology, so like your maybe, like I said, mind mapping, you just enable the Lightkey Anywhere within your profile setting, right, and then that will allow you to use it in that as well. There is no Mac version at the moment. We have requested one. I'm not entirely sure if we'll get one, but we have asked.
Okay. Well, that's fine. No, employment is mainly PC, obviously. For our DSA students, Mac is an option that they want to exercise.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, in conclusion, guys, that is everything around Lightkey. It gives the user lots of different options in terms of being able to work in obviously those multi-languages, and having the option of obviously all those 64 different subject-specific dictionaries or categories, if you like, as well.
A question. What is this product competing with in the marketplace? Because the idea is actually, I've seen so many brilliant features in this. So if you were to have this, what else don't you need? If you have a kind of a list of things that this will actually eliminate having to have one, because having too many applications for people with these conditions is not really helpful. So try to make it fewer but as useful as possible. So what would you have to take out in order to use Lightkeys?
Oh dear, you get me some tough questions on a Friday afternoon here now.
Well,
so I think it's Friday afternoon, we'd be, winding down and thinking of a weekend, but no, it's I suppose that it comes, so Lightkey comes at it from a different way in terms of people are obviously aware of spelling, specialist spelling packages. Auto-correction is another one. Mm-hmm. Word prediction, I guess, is the third version of that. Because we've got specific categories in there, we're obviously looking in terms of, and Lightkey does spelling as well, so it will take into account that. So we're probably maybe less reliant on specialist spell checkers potentially. Mm-hmm. It also is looking at stuff in advance, so it's looking at things in advance when it's typing. It's only going to give you a prediction based on what you've written. Mm-hmm. Not going to correct it or give you a prediction of just a random word. Yeah. So it's always taking into context. There is an element of, I guess, grammar in what it's doing as well. So potentially it's potentially, it may compete against auto correction tools, is where I would say.
Great. So, I mean, it's very useful, because the whole purpose of us organizing these webinars is really to try to give our assessors, which both workplace and obviously the DSA as well, is the option to find the best solution for a particular need. I'm sure all the other applications do a great job, but sometimes you just need that kind of a specific feature that we just outlined. And that to me is worth its weight in gold. That's brilliant.
Matt, we've had sorry.
Yeah, sure.
We've
go for it.
We've had a couple of questions. One is from Jan or Jan. She says, does it work on internet browsers?
So it will work. There is a Chrome add-on. So the Chrome add-on is loaded when you put the Windows version on, that works by default in your Gmail account, or it will also work in other online applications. But I need to double check. Obviously, NASA made the point about specific applications, but it will work obviously in your Gmail, and will also give you predictions in other online applications. Within your profile, it will actually tell you which particular applications those are. So Google Chrome, for example, things like Reddit, Twitter, it will work in WhatsApp as well. So it actually work in LinkedIn. So it will actually work in LinkedIn and give you those predictions too.
Fantastic. And Elaine has said, just wondered if you were partially sighted, would it read what you are typing in for the predictions?
No, it won't. No, it will. It's, again, it doesn't give you any audible response to your predictions, so it won't give you that. It will only give you a single prediction. That's it at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions?
I've asked far too many, so I'm sure Matt doesn't like.
No, it's fine. I mean, one of the things that I would say there, and again, pretty much what you said, NASA, in terms of other products, etc., and things like that, is we are aware that there are other products out there that have, for example, an element of word prediction within them. But those products do give you multiple predictions, which, as I said before, has been from the research and stuff, sort of counterproductive. And also, Lightkey is purely there as a prediction, a multi-word prediction software. It doesn't try and do anything else, and it doesn't want to do anything else.
If you were to guide assessors making recommendations, what conditions or what kind of an impact on conditions would you be looking for to recommend this? Because it's not like dyslexics need this. There are some people who would need multiple predictions and also the audio feedback. So if you were to guide people saying, well, this kind of a condition would be perfect for, actually, I think this is a great productivity tool, full stop, about nothing to do with special needs or disability. But apart from that, if somebody wants to recommend it, do you have a checklist of the type of conditions that this would be perfect for?
Yeah, we do. And what I'll do is I'll circulate that to Colin so you can get that out. It's one of the things that was done with the research and stuff. As I said, the initial, going back to 2016 from the disability side, actually came from an occupational therapist who had a client with cerebral palsy, where, again, from a productivity point of view, you potentially maybe would have looked at, for somebody, maybe it's something like Dragon or something like that. But obviously that wasn't appropriate. But actually having something like Lightkey, which is offering you that amount of prediction in advance, allows that user to speed up their typing process. But yeah, we do have a list, and I will circulate that as well.
And actually, one comment from Kelly, she wants that list if you can, and also Kevin Candler asking. If it gives one type of correction, is it geared up towards dyslexic type errors?
Yes, it is. Again, and part of that is also because of the way the technology works. It's constantly looking at what you've written. It's looking at specific words that you've already written within your sentence. Therefore, it is giving you accurate, 100% accurate predictions. If it doesn't know, it really won't offer a prediction. As you saw in the typing, if it's not sure, it won't offer a prediction, full stop. Again, there is an element of it when it's doing those predictions, because of what it's looking at, what you've written. It's also looking at it in terms from a grammatical point of view as well, to ensure that it's the correct grammar being used as it goes as well.
So if you can find me a software that can predict entrepreneur or psychotherapist, so I don't have to type it, then I'll buy one.
I'll get programming this afternoon if it's not in there already, NASA. How's that?
Yeah, that's very good. Any other questions? This is I think it's a very, very good piece of software. And I must admit, it's the first time I've seen it myself. Thanks for the great presentation, Matt.
Pleasure. Like I say, if anybody needs any more information, like I say, I'll get stuff to Connor anyway. But if anybody wants a license or anything like that, get in contact with Connor. He can then give me a shout, and we will get licenses out to people, so you can try a little bit further. And I'll come back with any of the information and stuff from today that people are looking for.
Well, a final question from Elaine, and the answer is, Elaine, you better go back to your full speed. She was a touch typist. Would it help me speed back up again? I'm not sure whether that's got a clear answer. Practice.
You can change the profile to be an ultra fast typist and give those predictions. Would it speed up your typing or teach you around that? Probably not. It'll just offer predictions quicker. If you're a quicker typist, it will give you quicker predictions.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, we are ahead of schedule. I mean, or are we? Any other questions? Oh, Elaine again. Yes, she's thanked you for the answer.
No problem at all. So let's say anything else. Please come back to Connor and we'll get licenses and information.
And Kelly's one. Our question's coming. Kelly, is this software to be installed on machines, or is it based on a browser online?
It's a Windows install, so it has to sit on the user's machine. So it's a simple download process with what is effectively an 8-digit code. Enter that, and then that will sit locally on your machine.
Okay, fantastic. Connor?
So if there's not any more questions, we can wrap it up here. I'm just making sure there's nothing left in the chat box. One moment. Jan has said, may I request a license now, or do I need to email someone? Jan, after the webinar, I'll be sending out an email to all the attendees with the details for that. Okay, so just wait for the email from myself. Just give her a couple of minutes, make sure there's no further questions, and then I think we can wrap up. Peter Scory has said, thanks, very interesting. Thanks very much, Peter.
Cheers, Peter. Thank you.
Matt, you coming up with any other products to the market?
Potentially another couple on their way. We'll let you know as and when they drop, NASA. But we're
spoiler alert. So
spoiler alert. There's a few bits and stuff out there. I think there's some interesting technology, I think, being sort of pushed out at the moment. I think in light of the current circumstances, and I think also the way that people are changing their habits, and I think some of that is where there's potentially software that lends itself to the current situation.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you, because I don't know if you've read the latest report about the HE and disabled students, and that really transitioning into workplace is going to be a major focus for government, because they'll have potentially millions of people out of work, and the last thing they want is young people coming out of education and not have a job. Transferring the skills they acquire in DSA into a workplace is a very important one, and I think any products that will actually enable that independence and becoming self-reliant is going to be a very important kind of addition to our sector. So if you have any products that might help the students to come out of university, go straight to work with those tools, I think that'd be a major market for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that also probably links in with the way that things, I think, in terms of the workplace are going to change, in terms of how much people are in and out of an office, potentially working from home and things like that might change. So yeah, no, I think you're probably right.
Well, we've launched some of that. We found some products similar to yours, this is why I'm so keen to bring it to the market so people can see. And this is to actually give a bit more of give students less to do more. Because we find that lots of products, lots of tools can actually be counterproductive for them because they won't be able to use them. But if you have fewer products that can do a lot of the work they want, that'd be a real good combination. Anyway, it's been a great session. Thank you, Matt. And hopefully that's no more. Thank you. Well, we'll see you in your next product launch, hopefully.
Hopefully so, yeah. So, yeah, thank you ever so much. Connor, thanks for arranging this, and the rest of the guys at Microlink and everybody else for attending. And I hope you all have a good weekend.
Please take a bow. I mean, unmute your.
There you go.
There you go.
Not bad for a Friday afternoon.
Right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks very much.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Best you've looked forever. All right. Bye-bye. Take care.